All right, and we're live. Welcome to Thursday night. We have fun, make friends, and build companies every single Thursday night. And this is the inaugural Alberta Cleantech Investment Summit. I'm Zach Storms. I'm the founder of Storm TNT, and I'm really excited to be launching this in partnership with Actia, Foresight, and Energy Futures Lab. We do pitch nights all the time here in Alberta, and tonight, we're celebrating the clean tech space. So I want to give you a little opening welcome here about what the Investment Summit's all about. My slides are not progressing, of course.
But your energy was on point. So that's what matters.
All right, yeah, great opening there. Ruined it, that's all right. Here's the next slide. I somehow made it to the next slide. Key dates. Look, the summit is not a one-day event. It's actually a series of really fun events like this one we're having tonight. We got 2 pitch nights. The investors are working through the 38 companies that applied. The investors will be selecting a top 10 on February 18th, then a top 5, and they'll be making at least one investment into their top choice on March 11th. We got great partners here, which we're going to introduce in just a second, but I want to give you a little bit more background on why we do these investment summits. So our philosophy is have fun, make friends, build companies. We're building clean tech companies tonight, and our origin is actually at Startup TNT anyways. Our origin is at a happy hour. This is actually happy hour week 91, I believe. I'm almost losing count now. And the investment summit's a really awesome opportunity to not just have fun, but actually put real investors into the fold, introduce them to angel investing, introduce them to the great companies here in Alberta, and work together as a team to select companies for investments. You know, each investor commits $5,000 ahead of time to invest in one great company. But we did this 3 times in 2020. We had 100 companies apply, over 100 companies. We had 70 investors. And each time, more than one company raised money at the summit. We formed 8 angel syndicates. And between the angel syndicates and some pretty sizable side deals, $1.365 million was invested into these 8 great companies, 4 of whom have raised oversubscribed seed rounds and have received co-investment from some pretty reputable VC firms. It's really awesome to get involved in the community in this way. And so I really just want to stress here, the investors here are putting their own money into this. This isn't a prize competition. This is the real world. And this is a way to celebrate what's happening and showcase what's going on. So tonight, you get to take a look at your top 20. This is your first introduction. Pitch night 1, we got 10 companies. Pitch night 2, next week, we got another 10 companies. This is the real deal. These companies are looking for not just money, they're looking for support. So if you're here and you're not an investor, you know, think about how you can support these companies. Get active on the chat channel. Show them your love. They're putting themselves out there today. They're working hard to build a company. If you can help them in some way, please connect with them directly. Let them know that you appreciate them and share your love. Don't be shy on the chat today. All right, I'm going to give you a little overview of how things are going and how this is going to play out. But first, I think we're ready to hear from Jason Switzer. Would you like to say a little hello?
Of course. There I am. I'm on mute. Hey guys, so great to be here. What an awesome turnout for our first showcase night. I'm really excited. Many of you know me. I'm Jason Switzer, Executive Director of Actia, the Alberta Clean Technology Industry Alliance. We're just pleased as punch to be partnered with Zach on this. I will try not to do any more alliteration over the course of the night, but really excited to watch you guys pitch and be part of this. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, which include Western Economic Diversification Canada, Internext, which is a law firm that has kindly agreed not only to be our title sponsor, but also to provide support to our ventures and investors as they get to a final term sheet. And of course, to you all for the amazing contribution of time and effort that's gone into being here. I'll just ask if Matt or anybody else from EFL has joined us.
Yeah, I think Janet Jackson would like to go next, and then Matt.
Absolutely, happy to go next. Hi, everyone. I know many of you on this call, so congratulations for making it to this step. Jeanette Jackson, I'm the CEO of Foresight. we are essentially helping build really strong, robust, supportive clean tech ecosystems to support innovation in the space. And we do that through a series of programs and initiatives that not only support the innovators like you, but also engage industry, academia, government, and capital. So I'm going to end on that capital note. I'm really excited to see how the program unfolds for you and the investors over the next several weeks. And we'll be here to support any way that we can. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. And Jeanette is leading a couple of master classes happening next week. Maybe we can post a link to that in the chat. Hope you can join us for those. Thanks for leading those, Jeanette, organized in partnership with Jason too. So what about Matt Mayer, Energy Futures Lab, another key partner. Matt, would you like to say hello?
For sure. Thanks, Zach, and everyone. Nice to meet you all, and ditto to Jeanette, and congratulations to making it this step. We're delighted to be a part of this. My name's Matt Mayer. I lead special projects for an initiative called the Energy Futures Lab, which is really trying to help create a collaborative space for where technology bumps into social challenges, which could take place in so many different ways. One of the things we've been grappling with is how access to capital can really accelerate a transition in the energy system. And part of our mission and purpose is to figure out how we can create the energy system that the future requires of us. So we're really excited to partner with all the folks here, with all the investors, with learn more about all these amazing companies, so we can continue to explore how access to capital can accelerate the transition to the energy system that the future requires of us. Nice to meet you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Great to have you as part of this. We say it takes a village to build a startup. It takes a village to put on a great event. So really awesome to be working with Actia, Foresight, and Energy Futures Lab together with Startup TNT. This is a brilliant partnership. And, we had a really awesome crop of companies apply. We've got a really cool investment team. And I just got to say, tonight's about having fun. So this is how it's going to work tonight. Presenters get 3 minutes to pitch. They get 3 minutes for questions. We're going to take questions from the investors first. I'll facilitate questions. If the investors happen to be quiet, we can take questions from the audience, or if we have time, we'll take questions from the audience. But really, we're here to enjoy the show. We're here to support the community. So cheer on the presenters, show the love. It's hard presenting. Remember, it's awkward. Remember how I started the presentation? Awkwardly, not being able to move my slides forward. Move right through. Thank you. Jeanette made me feel comfortable. She was like, no worries, Zach, you're doing a good job. Thank you, Jeanette. Think like Jeanette. Let's make everybody feel comfortable here. We're here to have a good time. There's 100 people here tonight. That's incredible. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And don't forget, capital is actually just one of the many things that a company needs to be successful. So everyone here can do their part to help these companies grow. Reach out to them directly to let them know how you can do it. All right, we're just about ready to start, but I do want to say one of our philosophies here at Startup TNT is that a beer is worth 1,000 business cards. We actually have a beer fund. We have a tradition where we get people to raise their hand and put some money down to buy beer for their friends every single Thursday. I contributed $500 to the beer fund this week. I hope some more people will contribute. I know a few of you are. And the reason that I say this is because we're here to build real relationships. It's easy to give someone a business card and walk away and forget about them. But when you buy someone a beer, you buy a friend, or you invite them for coffee, you go for a jog, you're saying, I actually want to get to know you on a human level. And that's what it's really all about here in the startup community. So do more than share your business card, do more than connect on LinkedIn, actually get to know each other. And that's why we have a happy hour that follows after pitch night that goes until late. Hope you can join us for that. Okay, if you can help us spread the word too, let's do a quick tweet break while we transition to the very first presentation. I might also suggest that everyone who hasn't said something on the chat channel, loosen up your fingers, say hello to someone you haven't met before. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it back over to Jason Switzer. Jason, who's our first presenter?
Hey, awesome. Thanks, Zach. What a great lead up, and also what a great person to kick off with. First up is Mina Zarabain at Carbonova. Mina, hope you're ready.
Yes, I am.
Kick us off with some pizzazz.
Okay. First, my name is Mina Zarabian. I am CEO and co-founder of Carbonova. I'm here very excited today to tell you our story, how we are creating carbon solution. We have an open offering for $1 million investment, and we have secured lead investors, sophisticated investors for $250,000. We have a patent protected process that utilizes greenhouse gases, more specifically carbon dioxide and methane, combined with waste heat, and it generates carbon nanofiber, solid product. What is carbon nanofiber? In a simple form, carbon nanofiber is premium carbon black. It can be used in 40 segments of applications. There are 16 million tons market for it and $20 billion market valuation. It makes the product stronger, greener, lighter, and cheaper. On the competitive landscape, there are different type of products that we are competing with. On the quality price landscape, there are carbon black, lowest quality, lowest price, then carbon fiber, and then carbon nanofibers, nanotubes. Carbonova product is in fact carbon nanotubes, nanofibers. And in the price point of view, we are pretty close to carbon black, and that's the reason we are competing with, we have access to all those three markets of carbon black, carbon fibers, and carbon nanofibers. Why do we have an edge? It's because we have a circular economy model, and we are tapping on carbon dioxide and emission as our new resources. Carbonova technology is using low-cost feedstock, low-cost process. It is conventional chemical process and is massively scalable. It is based on proprietary catalyst and process, and it's almost impossible to be replicated. And it utilizes greenhouse gases that is becoming more and more important for the customers. Where are we? We have completed phase 1, which is a prototype that is currently operating. We have spent over 1,000 hours of engineering and have the detailed design of the pre-commercial unit. We are right at the stage of constructing our pre-commercial unit, and that's the reason we are raising. From there, we're going for block 2, corporate investment and expansion in different logistics. We have a top-notch team of scientists, process engineers, chemical engineers, and chemists, and we have great strategic partners. On the traction and demands, we have graduated from Creative Destruction Lab, Lafarge Holcim Accelerator, and Green STEM. We have been funded by different government agencies, SDTC, NRC, IRAP, MyTax, Alberta Innovates. We have 2 licensing agreements, and we have great relationship with 3 international customers on the end use. And why do you invest in Carbonova? It's here. Jason, cheers for your son. Thank you.
Hey, great finish there, Mina. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Right at the 3-minute mark, try to see if any questions are coming in. I think the investors are being shy. Let me start us off. Tell us a little bit about those relationships. You mentioned 3 relationships with some key customers. Can you tell us more information about that?
Well, I cannot disclose who exactly they are, but they are in construction industries, they are in auto manufacturing, and they are in reinforced plastic business. And they are located in Europe and United States.
That's awesome. And so are there like actual contracts in place, or like how formal is the relationship?
We have an NDA, ROI, letter of intent, and also we have recently received PO from one of them, and we are in the process of shaping a consortium, R&D consortium for the next 4 years with them.
Okay, well, PO, that's big news. So tell us a little bit about the commercial unit, or the pre-commercial unit that looks like is the immediate objective here.
Yes.
The first question comes in is kind of related to this, which is, when's the first revenue expected from that commercial unit?
Okay, the pre-commercial unit can generate revenue, but it's not the purpose of it. The pre-commercial unit is often a step for scale up many chemical processes. It is for identifying the scale up factor and also securing purchase order. So while we get some purchase order in that step, it is not the purpose of it. The purpose is securing large purchase order for 2,000 tons production in the commercial unit. And we're expecting to start the sale, the actual profitable sale in the commercial unit.
Okay, Mina, we got about a minute left. I'm going to ask you 2 questions at once. One is, what's the situation with the IP? And then how green is this process compared to other competing carbon nanofiber suppliers?
Okay. Wait a sec. The first one was
IP.
patent. Yes, we have a patent on the process, on the apparatus, and also on the catalyst. And we are continuously expanding our IP portfolio through know-how, secrets, and also patents. The second question was?
How green is the process compared to other competing carbon nanofiber suppliers?
Okay, the competitive carbon nanofiber technologies are from electrochemical processes. We might have heard about X-Prize companies. In that field, we have advantage in the terms of energy use here, for sure. And in the terms of commercial carbon nanofiber production through chemical vapor deposition, we have advantage of using carbon dioxide and also less energy and having a process that is very, very scalable.
Okay, Mina, we're right at 6 minutes. Let's end it there. I'm giving you a huge round of applause for starting us off strong. Awesome opening. Great questions from the audience or from the investors. Let's keep it going. Thanks so much, Mina. Appreciate it. Jason, who's next?
Hey, awesome. What a great way to start, by the way. Okay, next up, Alexandra Brody from Winecrush Technologies. Winecrush Technologies.
Good evening, everyone. Let me just share my screen here.
Great, and Alexandra, can we hear you?
Just 1 second here. Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah, we can see your screen. You look good to go, but yeah, take your time. No worries.
Sorry about this.
What's impressive is how few technology mess ups we have.
Sorry, there we go. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Hope that didn't cut into my time.
Nope, no worries. You're good to go.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so thank you, everyone. My name is Alexandra Brody, and I'm one of the co-founders of Winecrush Technologies, based in the Okanagan. We are an innovative agritech company that has created a patent-pending biomechanical process to transform wine derivatives into a high-performance food ingredient solutions. Our target market is for the plant-based food producers who we're in contact with some of the top food producers in the world. We are looking to raise $250K, and expected revenue is over $1 million for 2021. Wineries around the world discard their grapes after crushing during the winemaking process, creating a tremendous amount of winemaking waste. For every 2 bottles of wine that is produced, the equivalent of 1 bottle of winemaking product is produced. Globally, wineries produce nearly 15 million tons of winemaking derivatives full of flavor and nutrients that end up in the landfill and polluting the farms and waterways. Waste from the winemaking accounts for over 50 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions annually. Wineries know that they have a significant problem and are looking for solutions. Food producers around the world have challenges to meet, increasing consumer demands for sustainable food products with outstanding nutritional value. Winecrush Puree is a flavor enhancer that we typically call a 6-in-1 ingredient with exceptional nutritional content, particularly the polyphenolic substance, including flavonoids such as quercetin and non-flavonoids such as resveratrol, a powerful antioxidant. The phenolic tannin that is found in Winecrush Puree can reduce sodium content by as much as 80% in food products. Short shelf life for food products is a major contribution of food waste. Natural and healthy food preservation remains one of a massive challenge. The high levels of polyphenols found in grapes can be used as a natural preservative and can extend shelf life by 60%. Our patent pending approach can be scaled to wineries across Canada and eventually around the world. At global scale, winemaking derivatives produce 15 million metric tons of food waste. A conservative $5 a liter that the puree we sell for is valued at a $73.3 billion market annually when our target is reached. Our Winecrush puree has 4 years of research development, creating a product that has a strong IP and is highly cost effective. Winecrush has conducted substantial technical and market validation, and its new puree-based flavor product. Its validation includes $18 a liter. This price compares to a favorable $50 to $86 for our competitors. Our team is constructed of highly experienced engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs, and we are continuing to grow rapidly. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And these are our endorsements.
Hey, great job, Alexandra. Thanks so much. Okay, let me start us off with the questions. Tell us, you mentioned that you're looking at doing $1 million in revenue by 2021. So tell us a little bit more detail about how you're going to get there.
So we are in, we've just processed our MTA and MDAs with some of the biggest food processors in the world. One being in the UK, the other ones being in the States. That could be highly achievable with the scale that they need for the product.
Okay, and what do you expect the expenses to be in 2021 or over the next little while? Like, will you be profitable with that revenue level or no?
So we are funded quite substantially with IRAP and other government grants. And our cost-effective design for our puree product doesn't use a lot of, we've reduced it by 90%. So our cost-effective design is quite limited. So we will be profitable for next year.
Really? Okay. What's the existing status quo with wine residues and waste, or what are competitors doing with it in general?
So that's a great question. As many, you may know of a beverage called grappa. And so that's also a second press of the wine derivatives in Italy. So that is our competitor, as well as wineries feed livestock with the substance. And then it's typically known also as a powdered form as well.
Okay, great. Okay, another question coming in from James. Use of funds, $250K for the scale up. Is that enough money? And okay, go ahead.
So basically our production right now is pilot, but we are moving into our production facility, our pilot production facility, probably within 10 days. 250, obviously there's room to grow, but that is what we are looking for at the moment.
Okay, we're just about out of time. Do you have can you share the deal terms for this raise, or do you want to share it privately?
I can share it privately.
Okay. One question from Matt in the chat. I might encourage you to answer that directly in the chat because we're just out of time here. Awesome job, Alexandra. Thanks for all the questions from the investors. Jason, let's go back to you. Who's up next?
Wow, two great tough acts to follow, but old colleague and friend Kurosh Kaj is here to talk about Wave Technologies. Kurosh, you ready?
I'm in a second.
Great, we can hear you.
Full screen. You have my full screen.
You're good to go, Kurosh.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. My name is Kurosh. I'm the co-founder of Wave Corp. To begin with, first, I would like to say thank you to all the baby boomers who built the Alberta heavy oil industry and now give us the chance to improve it to the next standard level that we are in that situation nowadays. WAVE stands for waste ash to vanadium electrolyte. Vanadium electrolyte is a key component for vanadium electrolyte redox flow battery as an energy storage to have more deployment of the renewables, solar and winds. Our process is environmental friendly. We are looking for the circular economy concept, and we are supporting the Alberta heavy oil to be more clean. This is an example of the refineries waste that we see from our process in the last years, either in the format that it goes to the landfilling or in the tailing pond. And the problem for that, the impact for that is these are toxic materials, and it's contaminated our groundwaters. Instead of going to the circular, to the linear economy, which is going to the heavy oil in the pipeline and landfilling all the waste, we are suggesting that this can go to the circular economy, the feedstock for our process. It can be the waste from this heavy oil, partial upgrading, and then we are converting it to the material that is right now highly demanded in the market, and the market is so thirsty for that. Based on that, we started our work back in 2015, and over the past 6 years, we get a couple of grants from the government, federal and provincial. Our patent has been granted, the US patent and Canadian one, both has been granted. And in the past 2 years, we were working on our process and market assessment. The plan for 2021 is to build a pilot of 100 liters per day, and the next year after that, the commercial model of 10,000 liter scaling up. In the past 2 years, we were working in all the supply chain for the VEs and the stakeholders, from the suppliers of our feedstock, basically the one that were producing the most in the past 15, 20 years, to get access to the samples from them, and the one that is producing for the next 50 years. And after that, we are working all the time with the Alberta College and universities and any small fabrications that works in Alberta. At the end of the process, our product is going to be used by the battery manufacturers, which we have been a good relationship with the North American one and the European one, and have a letter of intent and connections with them. And at the end of the users, we were looking for all the spectrum from residential to commercial models. And the plan for 2021, as I mentioned, is about a unit of pilot unit of 100 liters. And this is an example of one unit of commercial models that we are working on that. As you see, the payback period of our process is 2 years. And the Alberta has an opportunity of 5 to 10 units of this, plus the international markets that we are working on that. And thank you for your attention for this. And I should say one more sentence, that is, thank you for Startup TNT, Actia, and of course, Foresight, for all the helps they have done in the last 2 years for us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kurosh. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Karush. Okay, here, I got a question here from one of the investors. Wants to know 100 liters per day of process waste. What does that equate to in terms of vanadium, and how much further processing is required for the purity, the final purity?
For our process, 100 liter of, if I understand correctly, you mean how much of the vanadium electrolyte we're producing?
Yeah, or maybe another way to phrase this is, another investor says, just simply, what are the yields for the vanadium out of the process waste?
This vanadium electrolyte that they produce is directly using in the battery. As if I may just showing how is the battery look like. This is a battery look like. This battery is different as the other type of the battery. This has independent from the power and energy side. The electrolyte goes to the tank. As you see, the tank form, the earliest model, 1991. This is a Japanese model design, and electrolyte is a key component. What we are producing is directly this electrolyte for the batteries, and it's using over there.
Okay, well, why don't we move to this other topic here, which is what's the market niche here for vanadium versus lithium-ion batteries? Not everyone knows.
This is a second battery in the market. Right now in Europe, they are using it for all the stationary applications. Lithium ion is the best for mobility, but there are some samples for the stationary, like solar farm or wind farm. The one Tesla had been built in Australia. But for the stationary battery, there are alternatives that we can use, which gives us a little bit flexibility of the design between the power and energy that there is a demand. The market is big enough to showing that left-hand side is a Chinese market. The biggest one in the world is 200 megawatt, 800 megawatt hours. Until the top right, it's a California model, the latest design, or the bottom right is the German design. They are all working all over the globe. This is a well designed and suited for energy storage, and especially the stationary one all around the globes.
Okay, Karush, we're gonna have to end it there. We're out of time. Thanks so much. A few more questions in the chat you can answer directly, and I'm sure the investors are gonna love getting to know you a little bit better in the follow-up meetings. So thanks so much, Karush.
Thank you.
Jason, who's up next?
Wow, well, hard to beat. We've had some terrific ones, but coming up next is Brandon Ambrose from EasyOps. Brandon, looks like we can see your presentation. Let's just check your sound. Can't hear you yet.
Sorry, my mute button got changed there.
There we go. All good.
Yeah, great.
Take it away.
Cool. Well, thank you, everyone. My name is Brandon Ambrose, and I am the founder and CEO of the first augmented intelligence platform in the oil and gas industry, which is called EasyOps. So a bit of background on myself. When I was 13, my first business was a honeybee business. I was absolutely fascinated about how I could adjust where and how the honeybees were working out in the field to maximize the honey output. Fast forward 5 years to 2009, when I started my first asset management company in the oil and gas industry, which is called Reliance Production Optimization. I leveraged my obsession of efficiency to grow the company to about $2 million a year. Our main focus was ensuring that every team member knew exactly what they needed to do to drive the maximum profit for producers. The problem is that there's fragmented data all over the oil and gas space. Producers are leaving it right now up to chance that field staff are making the right decisions, are taking the right actions based on their personal consolidation of all of that data and turning that data into insight. What we have done with EasyOps is we've created a centralized hub that consolidates all of this data, pushes it through a prioritization algorithm and engine that we've created, applies machine intelligence, and tells every user exactly how they should be going about their day to drive the most impact for producers. We anticipate that augmenting blue-collar workers in North America in the oil and gas industry could save about $8.3 billion each year. This slide is a bit outdated, but since incorporation in September of 2019, we've gotten our monthly recurring revenue to just about $40,000 a month. Our current client base represents about 6% of the Canadian oil and gas industry. And just scaling up through those existing clients would give us about 1.5 million annual recurring revenue. But of course, our goals are much higher than that. Currently, it's estimated that we've saved producers just about $50 million in OPEX. And we've saved just about 60 tons of CO2 by optimizing the logistics of all of the field staff. So we're looking for strategic investors to help us help the industry. And yeah, thank you all for your time. As Zach mentioned, if anyone wants to help even without contributing dollars, it's connections to producers that want to lower OPEX and they want to decrease their GHG emissions. We're here to help the industry and provide augmented intelligence on the front lines. So that's my pitch, and happy to answer questions.
Awesome. Well done, Brandon. Just under 3 minutes. Okay, we got a first question in from Julie. How many oil and gas companies are already using their own in-house solution for this?
Yeah, so there are niche products that are out there, but one thing that's really, really important if you're going to prioritize someone's life, you have to have all of the aspects in one place. So that's one thing that we've done a really good job of is we've created a digital twin of the operator's workflow essentially. And then once you have all of the inputs that these field staff are doing, you can then run it through algorithms. So then another benefit of using a software like EasyOps opposed to a home built one is what we do is we leverage the metadata across multi producers so that we can actually provide more insight than anyone could ever get on their own. Plus, we're spending millions of dollars on R&D and unfortunately most producers aren't doing that. But, yeah.
Okay, question here from one of our investors. Where's the data coming from? Is it SCADA or sensor sourced? Where's all this data coming from?
Yeah, you bet. So it's coming in from SCADA data, IoT devices, external data points. So, we're taking into consideration commodity prices, future weather patterns, chemical prices, logistics from geospratic data. We're kind of, yeah, we pride ourselves on being the interface with frontline workers. That's what our specialty is because we were built by operators for operators. And we want to be able to transmit the data, whoever needs data to get down to the front lines or needs to get data from the front lines. We have an API for that. That's a key part to the success of EasyOps.
And what are the operators telling you or like they're most excited about for the benefits? Like how are they enjoying this product and why are they enjoying it so much?
It's actually really cool when we, when we do demos with field staff, because that's where I'm from. They say, "Oh my God, this is what I've been dreaming of." So it's really, yeah, it's great. Field staff really like it because it solves all those problems and it allows good operators to be great operators, and really comes alongside them and augments them opposed to, a top-down solution. Currently we're sitting at 100% adoption, and yeah, we're really excited about that because we really want to help frontline teams. That's where we're from.
Okay, and how about the business model? How do you guys make money? How's that structured?
Yeah, so we want to price according to how much value we can bring to a producer. So like any good SaaS product, we price about 10% of what we can save them or what we should be able to save them. And then typically that's based on a per asset, so per well, per month kind of a subscription model. Yeah, and then try to make sure that people are saving 10 times of what they spend on our software.
Okay, last question to finish it off. What are you going to do with the investment dollars that you're raising right now?
So currently, right now we're building out our sales and marketing process. We're about 80% of the way there, and we're focusing on ensuring that we have 100% product market fit. And yeah, so we have some big news kind of coming in the future, which I'm not necessarily allowed to disclose. So anyway, we have some.
Will you be able to disclose it before March 11th?
Yeah. So
anyways, hey, look, we're out of time, Brandon. Great questions, great answering, nice rapid fire session there, Brandon. Thanks so much. I think let's hand it back to Jason. Let's move on to the next. Thanks so much, Brandon.
Great, Brandon. That's awesome. Nice. Wow. There's some strong companies back to back. Coming up next, though, we have a transplant from Seattle. Jason Purcell from Zilla Works. Jason, take it away.
Wait, actually.
Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. Sorry. It's Doug Brown. Doug Brown from ZS2 Technologies. Doug Brown.
Yeah, we jumped ahead.
Sorry about that, Jason. We'll get you on next.
The two Jasons want to get ahead of themselves.
No problem.
1 sec, I'll just share.
I think that's one where now I owe Zach a beer of his choice. What are you drinking tonight, Zach?
Polar Park, the home brew pub.
Nice.
Can everyone see my screen?
Thanks, Doug. Yep.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Doug Brown. I'm the CTO and co-founder of ZS2 Technologies. The challenge that our company is looking at addressing is the CO2 emissions produced from cement. Cement currently accounts for about 8 to 12% of anthropogenic CO2 emissions, and it's set to grow to 23%. If we look at this on a sector basis, buildings and building materials account for almost 40% of all the emissions humans make. Our solution is looking at addressing this. We are a revenue generating, oh, my slides are not going forward. Oh, there we go. We're a revenue generating company. We currently provide two products, our tech board and tech panel. They use our proprietary magnesium oxysulfate cement that has a much lower carbon footprint than conventional cement. But not only that, magnesium oxide has natural antimicrobial properties and some of the highest fire rating of materials available. When you use this method of construction, which we provide, it's a multifunctional panel construction that's highly customized to a client. We take a client's drawings, we panelize them, we cut each individual panel, we flat pack it, and then it's erected rapidly on site. This saves clients on construction times, reduces landfill waste, and in many instances is very cost competitive when you look at the holistic view of the project costs. We either deal directly with building decision makers or with contractors and architects. Our business model is direct sales, as well as distribution partners, of which we currently have 4. Our proprietary solution is based on using waste products from the mining sector, as well as the oil and gas sector. We combine brine and mine waste to form our magnesium oxysulfate cements. Our current priorities are focusing on the agricultural sector, food production, healthcare, multifamily, and residential sectors, where specialized wall constructions are needed and with high fire ratings, as well as focusing on an intellectual property development and protection strategy. The 3 sort of sandboxes that we're looking to play in are the cement industry being the largest of them, but also aligning ourselves with the OSB market by providing a fire protective barrier, as well as the existing exterior wall market. Our team and my co-founder is led by Scott Jenkins, our president and CEO. Previously, he ran Dirt Environmental Solutions and took that company from doing $6 million a year annually to $300 million a year. And that company is listed on the TSX. Our current pipeline is over $200 million. This year, we project that we'll have a roughly $20 million in high probability projects where we've quoted out. In our short time since our company's been founded, we've had many milestones that we're proud of. We were invited to Mars, as well as we were awarded the Solar Impulse Foundation label for being one of the top 1,000 solutions globally for a solution that's making a difference in the SDG goals of the UN and has a path to profitability. The use of our proceeds, we've completed our seed financing round, and we're currently doing our Series A financing for approximately 1.8 million. It's half subscribed. We have soft commitments for another quarter, and we're looking to complete that in Q1 of 2021. The use of the proceeds is to contribute to our Made in Alberta solution, as well as to continue our third-party validation testing. Thanks.
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Lots of cool progress on your company, Doug. First question I see here is, are these structural or just insulative barrier panels?
A good question. Yeah, so our panels are structural. And so every single building that we create is stamped by an engineer. And then all the structural elements are included in each panel.
Okay, and are there any home builders directly involved in either the project, or how are home builders involved?
Yeah, good question. So we'll work directly with all the decision makers, including home builders and commercial structures. We tend to focus on commercial structures because they're a little simpler and higher value margin projects, not quite as complex. But yeah, we work with home builders as well.
Okay, and a couple of questions coming in related to cost. So maybe take a moment to explain to everybody how the cost of this compares to traditional or competing options for the customer.
Yeah, happy to. So we come in at about $17 per square foot. A tilt-up concrete wall is about $25 per square foot. But we provide a product that's much easier to finish because we're both the interior and external substrate. So in the simplest manner, you would do stucco on the outside and just paint on the inside. Versus conventional construction, we're slightly more expensive. Although now with the OSB market being on fire, it's increased like 300% in the last year. We're cost competitive.
Okay, and what's the R value of the material?
Good question. Yeah, so we have extremely high R values. SIP Construction is known for it. But not only that, one of the products that I didn't get into we're developing is a composite stud that essentially has about 1,000th the standard thermal conductivity of steel, and steel construction is what we usually go after. So our R values that we report are almost equal to our effective R values.
Okay, and then I'll ask the final question, which is tell us a little about this regulatory pathway. You said you're at phase 1, you're going for phase 3. What does that regulatory pathway look like?
Yeah, so as I said, we're already generating revenue. All our projects are stamped by an engineer, but some of the specialized applications that we're going after, like seismic zones, fire-rated wall assemblies, and things like that, they require more testing, and including hurricane resistance. So those three testings, and actually I left SAPE just to run here, are currently underway, and we're hoping that we're completing those in 2021.
Okay, let's end it there, Doug. There's a question about use of funds in the chat. Maybe you can answer that for everybody in the chat. But thanks so much. Great job. I think it's time. Are we at the halfway point, Jason? I think we're at the halfway.
Pretty close.
Might be a time to take a quick stretch here and maybe grab another beer if you need one. I think I'm still good with mine. But hey, we're at the halfway point, everybody. This is going really awesome. I'm really impressed with these companies, Jason. Very cool.
Really cool, really cool. And everybody is pitching so well, so thank you. Well, with that, shall we give folks a minute, Zach? What do you think?
I think we should just keep moving, actually. People can grab a beer and join us again. Let's get on. I know Jason Purcell, he's been introduced twice now, so I know he's anxious to go.
Jason, let's see if your slides work. Let's get you up there. Terrific.
Seeing that?
Great. Thank you.
Great. At Zilla Works, we're creating a new bio-epoxy resin made from industrial hemp to enable the transition to a low-carbon economy. My name is Jason Purcell, CEO of Zilla Works. The problem with traditional epoxy resins is that they're made from fossil fuels and toxic chemicals. Zilla Works developed a patented bio-epoxy resin made from industrial hemp. Our hemp-based resin captures about 0.7 kilograms of carbon dioxide for every liter produced. Also, we have significantly increased the bio content of the resin to reduce health risks for manufacturing workers and consumers. Global demand for epoxy resins was $8 billion in 2016 and is expected to reach $11.5 billion by 2022. There are only a few competitors that have been able to create a bio-based epoxy resin. However, none of these companies have been able to get above 50% bio-based. They struggle to perform as well as petroleum-based resins, and they do not have the other benefits that come from hemp agriculture. Once commercialized, we anticipate the following. We purchase hemp seed oil from farmers in Alberta, contract with a toll manufacturer to use our patented technology to convert the oil into a bio-epoxy resin. We bring those base resins in-house to formulate for specific applications. Then we sell our resin system to manufacturers as a price competitive drop-in replacement so it can be fabricated into their products. Zilla Works is currently scaling up our platform resin technology that can be fabricated for multiple applications. We're starting with a high performance resin formulated for the ski and snowboard industry. This market segment will lead to other outdoor equipment manufacturers and eventually to larger market segments like wind turbines and airplane wings. Our second platform for the floor coating industry works the same way. We have already formulated for concrete and tile floors to be applied in hospitals, schools, and industrial spaces. Our third and fourth areas of development combine our hemp resin with natural fibers to innovate a full biocomposite for furniture, composite decking, and wood engineered products for the built environment. As we scale up, our first sales are anticipated by the end of 2021, with commercialization scale reached the summer of 2022, and break even anticipated the following year. By year 5, we plan to have created 27 full-time jobs, producing 95,000 liters of bio-epoxy resin per month, sequestering 60 tons of CO2 per month, and supporting over 5,000 acres of hemp cultivation in Alberta each year. I am supported by a team of industry professionals and advisors who collectively have experience commercializing over $120 million in polymer products, as well as developing and running manufacturing operations. We are currently raising our seed round of $1 million US using a convertible note with 1/3 already soft circled. These funds will allow us to distribute resin samples to an additional 30 to 50 potential manufacturers, scale to 500 kilogram batch size, and set up our in-house formulation lab to generate first sales by the end of 2021. If you're interested in learning more about our investment opportunities, please reach out. Thank you.
Hey, awesome job, Jason. Okay, tell us a little bit more about how you're going to get to revenue this year. Walk us through a little bit about like who these potential customers are. You got samples going out. Tell us a little bit more detail on that.
Absolutely. Our current scaled up project will hit 50 kilogram batch sizes in Q2, and then we'll pause and run some extra batches to do a 100 board pilot run with our strategic manufacturing, 100 board snowboard pilot run with our strategic manufacturing partner. And that will generate some revenue for us by the end of this year.
Okay, and all of that is within existing facilities that already exist? Like at what point do you need to either license out to a new facility or build your own facility for production?
In 2022, once we get to, in the second half of 2021, we'll be scaling up to 500 kilogram batch sizes. And so that by 2022, we can start producing at much larger volumes. We do anticipate either subcontracting that out. We're looking for tollers in the Edmonton area, although we're also in conversations to potentially build our pilot facility for ourselves in Edmonton.
Okay, so you're still exploring kind of like in-house build versus contracting? That's still open up? Oh,
that's correct. Those heavy capital equipment costs in that. And so we can outsource initially, but as our demand side increases, we'll build out our own facility.
Yeah. Okay. So there is sounds like you kind of answered this question about the manufacturing partner. Sounds like you're sourcing them here in Edmonton. That's where I am. And what about the cost? How competitive is cost compared to traditional options for the customer?
We are currently working on optimization of our synthetic pathway, reducing time, temperature, chemical inputs, which is actually pushing us over 90% bio-based, but also ensuring that will be price competitive at commercial scale. So right now our price is looking like it's on par for compared to traditional epoxy resins.
Okay, awesome. Why don't we do one last question? Dale Beard wants to know where this technology came from. What's the background story to it?
Sure. We developed this as part of a grad school project at Bainbridge Graduate Institute in Seattle. And we asked Washington State University to develop this technology for us. And we have the first patent has been issued with 3 divisionals as of October 2020. We have 2 pending patents that are related to the technology, also out of WSU. And we're working with University of Alberta on the scale-up project with additional patents potentially coming out of that work.
Okay, let's end it there, Jason. Great job. I do see at least one more question coming in on the chat. Feel free to answer in the chat. Awesome job. And over to you.
Thank you so much.
Nice job. Thank you. Well, another super exciting story. And I'm afraid the next one is going to make your choice no easier, investors. Up next is Nicole Sanchez with Ruth. Nicole?
Oh, hi. I'll be sharing my screen. Can you see it?
You're good.
All right. Half the world's population menstruates, and based on 2020's population, that equates to almost 12 billion pads in landfills. These pads typically consist of 90% plastic and 10% cotton, and it also contains toxic chemicals. The plastics in these pads are incredibly hard to break down, taking up to 800 years to completely biodegrade. So whether you menstruate or not, menstrual waste affects all of us. So we launched Ruth, our goal to ruthlessly make menstrual products accessible. The problem with current eco-friendly options is that they're reusable but inconvenient, and the disposable alternatives produce excessive amount of waste. That is where we come in. As women and customers ourselves, we create a product with the highest standards. So our pads are conveniently disposable, absorbent, plant-based, and are compostable in just 6 months. Menstrual products are a need that aren't going anywhere, and sustainable products are a growing necessity marked by 5.6 times faster growth than other consumer products. So by selling 600,000 pads just this year, we will divert 110,000 kilograms of plastic waste from the landfills. That equates to about 23 polar bears in weight from entering our landfills. Our target market are eco-conscious young women and mothers who purchase from local organic retailers. We will capture this market by beta testing here in North America next month and officially launch our pads online in June. Our main focus is to build an e-commerce strategy with a subscription model. And to reach our online customers, we're launching crowdfunding campaign and utilizing social media channels to connect with our target users. Our second revenue stream will come from schools and municipalities to promote menstrual product accessibility. Our pads will be sold at $7.99 per box online, and by reaching 21,000 customers and 4 universities this year, we're projected to make $300,000 in revenue. We have suppliers in place and eager customers that are waiting for our product release. And in order to get to revenue, we need $50,000 to fund our inventory and support our marketing efforts. So by 2022, we'll build our own manufacturing facility and secure retail sales contracts. And by 2023, we'll expand our product line to other eco-friendly materials such as tampons, diapers, and adult incontinence products. Our founding team of 2 women have received global recognition and mentorship from experts. Though some of you may know us from Hempact's hemp-based pads, my co-founder and I have made pivots to achieve our mission of making sustainable periods easier, much more quickly. At Ruth, we're changing the game for menstruation and turning red into green. My name is Nicole Sanchez, co-founder of Ruth, and we're seeking investment of $50,000 to help us bridge the gap between sustainability and convenience. Let us root for you, with Ruth for you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Right on time, Nicole. Nice high energy pitch. Okay, bunch of questions coming in. Let me go through them all. First question is this compostable and therefore disposable in those green bins that we see in Calgary and Edmonton? Is this actually compostable?
Yes, it's compostable. You can even compost it in your own compost at home.
Really? Okay, very cool. And how is the cost of this compared to a traditional plastic pad?
So it's a little bit of a premium. The pads in the market at retail stores are about like $6, and we're selling it for $8 essentially.
Okay, great. How did you create a comfortable and compostable option? Give us a little bit of the story behind that.
So it all started with an idea of producing this hemp-based pads because there's a lot of excessive agricultural waste of hemp here in Alberta. And then as we tried to develop this pad, we realized that it was really, really hard to do. And so now we're talking to some suppliers that will provide the pads for us in order to make this the process a little bit more quicker.
Okay, well, this is a good follow-up to that then. So before you build your own or use a manufacturing facility, how will you be manufacturing? It sounds like you might be partnering. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so we're talking with a couple of suppliers overseas, and we're looking to negotiate an exclusivity here in North America first, and then hopefully by next year we'll build our own manufacturing facility.
Okay, and then a question here about cash flow. What's your cash flow look like for the first $300,000 in sales?
So in our first year, right here is our revenue. If we're targeting 4 universities in our first year, like I mentioned, and with that, we'll be selling them for 25 cents. And then we'll get 37,500 for that one revenue stream. And then for our online sales, the numbers are right there.
Okay, and then what about customer acquisition cost? You know, at the end of the day, this is a consumer product. Have you explored that and modeled that in detail yet?
Yeah, so we'll be spending quite a bit in our marketing, especially because that's kind of our competitive advantage as well. We'll be looking at spending about $10,000 in our marketing for our first year.
Okay, and then what about the dollar amount you're raising now? $50,000 is relatively low. How are you going to use this money?
So we'll use that money to fund our first inventory purchase from the suppliers that I was talking about. And then also some of the funds will go towards our marketing efforts.
Okay, and then last question on the IP. Is there a patent? Do you own IP? Is there exclusivity? How's the IP working?
Yeah, so we don't have the IP with us, but we are working with exclusivity to sell here in North America.
Okay, let's end it there. We're right at 6 o'clock. Wow, what an awesome rapid fire session. Great job, Nicole. Great way to kick off the second half of the night. Thanks, Nicole. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks.
Great
Awesome.
question.
Thank you. Yeah, great discussion by the investors too. Alina Martin from the Harvest Hub. Alina, you're on next.
Yeah, sure. Hi. I'm just going to share my screen here. How are we? Can we see it there?
Looks
Excellent.
great.
Wonderful. Hi, Alina Martin, co-founder and CEO of the Harvest Hub. So imagine saffron in November, peppers in January, fresh herbs whenever you want them. Welcome to the Harvest Hub. Locally grown, sustainable, cost-effective food for years to come. Our vision is to feed 1 billion people by growing local food using clean energy. Vertical farming is currently a $2.23 billion market and growing at an astronomical rate. Food security, access, and sustainability are on the top of every government's list. That is evident by their commitment to reducing GHG emissions and funding for food issues across the globe. The problem we are solving is providing food security in insecure areas by giving people the ability to grow their own food in a Harvest Hub farm 24/7, regardless of climate or region, and creating employment and powering communities. What are we selling? We're selling a full indoor farm solution from plant growing technology in our SaaS platform to indoor growing equipment to superior non-moldable building envelopes, all powered by a green energy solution. Our farms deliver not only plants for food, but a power, waste, and recycling option for a community. We are already in discussions with various Indigenous communities and Food Banks Canada. With 650 food banks and over 600 Indigenous communities, such as Athabasca Chipewyan First Nation, that want our indoor vertical farm, the Harvest Hub will not run out of market anytime soon. Today, the only plants you can grow in indoor vertical farms are lettuces, leafy greens, and cannabis, and they all operate on grid. They are struggling with profitability and crop diversity. Ultimately, they cannot solve hunger. To solve hunger, you need to be able to grow things like carrots and eggplants, and you have to get them to the people easily. The Harvest Hub represents a step change in the development of vertical farming techniques. We are the next indoor farm generation. In fact, throughout all of this, one of our competitors is becoming our customer. This is a list of first-generation customers that are willing to work alongside the Harvest Hub and purchase farms from us. The next stage for the Harvest Hub is to build and deploy 5 vertical test farms, which is the final development stage before commercialization. Our ask is $2 million, of which we've already secured $600,000. Who are we? Our bench is deep. We've purposely filled it with industry experts in areas where we are not, and have focused on bringing together a world-class team to tackle an issue that's as large as sustainable food production in food insecure areas. Sean Fillion and Alina Martin, the visionaries and leaders behind the Harvest Hub, have both started, built, scaled, and profitably exited companies. GTV Optics, EcoGrowth, and MGO Systems are our partners in various pieces of the Harvest Hub technology. Help us help communities solve hunger in a way that creates food, jobs, and education all over the world. Thank you.
Hey, awesome job, Alina. Okay, a couple of questions coming in from Robert, who's bringing a lot of questions tonight. Thanks, Robert. Will you guys be operating the farms?
So there's 2 pieces to our business model. The first piece is what we call kind of a farm in a box. If you think of like IKEA meets farming, these are the farms that will be operated by the communities that they're operating in. So for example, in Athabasca Chipewyan First Nation, where they want to deploy one of our farms, they will be creating a bunch of jobs in those communities to run the farms. So they get all the way from the farmer all the way to the end product that's being produced.
Okay. And then quick follow-up, what's the capital cost and IRR of an illustrative farm?
Yeah, so if you take a look at a 1 acre, so let's use a 1 acre farm, which is 5 levels. So it's technically 5 acres on 1 acre. You're looking, and the capital cost is intensive. It's about $25 million to set up one of these farms. One of the advantages that we really have in the market right now is the massive amount of government funding that is out there. If you take a look at one of our competitors who's also becoming one of our customers, the grocer, they've been able to build a sustainable business model using a combination of those grants in food insecure areas. The government is foundationally focused on finding ways to feed these people.
Okay, and on this note, what's unique about your model versus the competitors?
So our model foundationally grows deep root product. What makes that different is 99.9% of vertical farms in the market today are growing only leafy greens. The reason that they're only growing leafy greens is because they're growing in water. We are growing in soil. And so we've actually got a patent pending on some interesting airflow technology that we've created with soil-based equipment. We've stayed very focused on being a technology company first so that we can build exceptional equipment. And that's really what's missing in this vertical farming market is the equipment manufacturers right now are focusing primarily on hydroponics, aeroponics, et cetera.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for that insight. I think some of us might have missed that. So that's really important. Thanks for that. And what about number of local employees or jobs per 1 acre farm? Have you estimated that?
Yeah, so we estimate we create about 10 jobs per 1 acre farm. That doesn't take into consideration when we talk about sort of end product. So that's really operating the farm. That could be farmers, that's engineers, all these sorts of components.
Okay, final question. Where's the energy coming from to fuel these farms and run the farm?
It's coming from a biomasser. So we are, one of the things that we that you didn't get to see, but what's in the bigger slide presentation is the actual green energy component. So that's one of the things that makes our farms unique. And that's foundationally where the business is pivoting to, is connecting those two pieces. So producing plants for food and producing energy for communities and using biomasser technology to do that.
Okay, let's end it there. We're just over time. Great presentation, great answers, great questions. I don't know how the investors are going to make a decision in a couple of weeks. It's not going to be easy. So thanks so much, everybody. Let's keep it going.
I'm glad I'm an impoverished, not-for-profit person. This is a tough choice. So, okay, well, next up, we've got Kelly Hall from Vermillion Power Technology. Kelly, let's get your slides up and check out your audio.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. Awesome. Thank you. Take it away, Kelly.
All right. So I'd like you to imagine that you've decided, for your own reasons, that you want to start some solar, use some renewable energy systems in your house. And you go to Home Depot and you find the parts that you want, and you come home and you set it up in a weekend. Now, I say imagine, because that doesn't exist. Oops, if I can scale it properly, there we go. So it doesn't exist right now, but our technology will let this happen. Mass market access to home solar in whatever size you want, starting at less than $1,000, and then adding it in increments to whatever you want, expanding it to whatever you want for batteries, for solar panels, for bidirectional car chargers, for wind turbines, for managing your own generation, with generators, all that good stuff, all available. But you might be saying, well, why would I do that anyway? Because solar is very expensive. And you're absolutely right. Like, if you were to install a system right now, the smallest system you would typically get is about $15,000, and you'll save approximately $600 a year, $25-year return, or you could be spending even more. So why would you do it? It's not about the savings, it's about people. And people have lots of different ideas, yourself included perhaps, for why you want to get into solar or renewable energy in general. But in particular, what we've found, especially south of the border, is with aging infrastructure and the onset of storms, hundreds of thousands of people go without power for days at a time. And this is not even getting into what's happening with California with the rolling blackouts. So what our system allows you to do is start with a basic backup if you want, and as you get more comfortable with it, expand it as you go. So how are we going to get this product out to the world? Our team. My name is Kelly Hall, and I'm a co-founder and CEO with this business. Ray is the guy who's put all the technology together and is doing the patents. Phil, as marketing and sales, is doing two things. One, doing our market fit, making sure that we're actually finding the right market to get started in, and possibly more importantly, keeping us engineers in line with actually what the market is for. Our future path, what we're looking at is starting 2023, we will be rolling out our product of renewable energy systems for your home, like any other renovation system, or any other renovation product. And it's expandable, simple to install, inherently safe. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Great presentation. Tell us a little bit about the economics for you and the business model.
So we are developing the prototype right now. We are substantially funded at the moment through IRAP, Canada Export actually, and Electricity Human Resources. So we have some funding for helping us get through some of the initial stages. And we're looking now, this is the first series of pitches that I've actually started on, and looking at how do we get funding to move us forward. But primarily, we're also an engineering and design house for power electronics. So we have a separate group of people who we of course cross-fertilize, but we do have a group of people who do projects around the world. And that revenue then acts as seed for our development.
So there's like some consulting projects going on that are feeding into the R&D costs.
That's right.
What about the permitting process? Are there any challenges there in terms of getting this thing into,
I mean, it's a real process, obviously, but that's actually part of our consulting business. We consult to others on how to do permitting processes and get your systems through. So we're not expecting any difficulty. It is part of the work, but nothing difficult.
Okay, and what's the status of the product? Is there an MVP out there working right now?
No, so we're in prototype at the moment. We expect to have a working prototype and visuals for the end of May. And then from there, we'll be working on each of the other parts. This prototype that we're working on is the integral piece, which allows all the other parts to work. The other system pieces are much simpler.
And are you expecting that homeowners can do this on their own without an electrician?
Absolutely.
Is there additional applications beyond the do-it-yourself market?
Yes, and part of the problem from our marketing perspective is how do we limit that market, and who do we look at? Somebody who doesn't want to do it DIY, you can automatically just go to another provider or installer. By cutting out the installer, you're saving 50% on your system, straight off. So larger systems, the same components can work for an entire community. You could tie an entire community together. Microgrids are there as well, but there's a lot of competition getting into the microgrid technology as well.
And is this system actually connected to the grid or independent?
Absolutely can be connected to the grid. And that becomes an option within the system components that you decide to go for. You can try it yourself independent of the grid and then connect to the grid at a later date.
Okay, you know what? Let's end it there on questions. We're just coming up on time. A couple questions coming in on the chat, which I encourage you to answer in the chat.
Sure.
Thanks so much, Kelly. I think, are we on to our last presentation of the night, Jason? What I see.
Incredible. I think you and I have developed some marathon-like stamina after the pitch marathon this summer. But I got to say, each of these have been fantastic pitches. I have to compliment everyone. It's really cool to see that. Next up is Alex Villeneuve, and Alex is presenting Siri Solutions. Alex, great. And let's check your sound.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex. I'm the founder and CEO of Siri Solutions. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Great. So we're an innovative mushroom farming operation that uses locally available biomass as a substrate to grow a variety of high-value culinary and medicinal mushrooms. And then we create circular value by using our mushroom substrate as a enhanced livestock feed. The average mushroom farm in 2020 in the United States grew 5.9 pounds of mushrooms per square foot. Our technology that we've developed over the last 5 years grows 52 pounds per square foot. So we're 8.8 times higher yielding than the national US average. Our system is pretty unique in that we can use a wide range of locally available biomass, stuff that would be negatively valued. Stuff like craft beer brewers, grain or pomegranate waste or nut shells or local cereal straws, things that are either burned or composted or thrown away can make a really great basis for our mushroom cultivation. But we take that biomass, we run it through our custom processing equipment. We grow mushrooms based on the local demand we can grow species that are really popular in the region. That's where the majority of revenue comes from, and then all of our waste goes to support local farmers and ranchers. So North America's mushroom market is 1.6 billion US dollars, and it's growing pretty significantly. The area that we're entering is the specialty mushroom market, and that's growing at a rate much higher than the rest of the industry. Worldwide, in 2013, the edible mushroom market was 34 billion, and by 2024, it's projected to reach 69 billion. So our process is really unique. It condenses the most labor-intensive and inefficient processes in a standard mushroom growing operation, and it condenses it into one easy piece of automated processing equipment and one automated fruiting and incubation container. So the entire process is essentially hands-free. You load the material into our processing vessels, you push a button, and then it processes, it heats, cools, makes it a suitable substrate. Then you load it into a climate container, which is a modified shipping container, where we have a machine learning partner who monitors that crop's development, predicts when it will be ready, the amount of mushrooms that'll be harvested in pounds, as well as the turnaround time. So that helps reduce food waste and brings a higher quality mushroom to market. The mushrooms are harvested, and then the tubes are sent off. So this process in total is about 8 to 16 hours faster than competition, and has a much lower contamination rate of about 1%, as opposed to 10 to 75%. Interest in specialty mushrooms is growing. You can see on the graph on the left-hand side that the light blue lines are specialty mushroom farms in Canada. There's more and more of them. People really like specialty mushrooms. People like to grow them, but the average farm just isn't efficient. The yield is very low at about 5 to 6 pounds per square foot. The variable cost is very high, making the sales price and very high as well. Local competitions between $10 and $20 a pound. Our system makes that more efficient at $6 to $7 a pound. We also use custom compostable plastic tubing to eliminate 98.4% of our plastic waste. So we're doing a $2 million seed round. Everything to date has been funded in non-dilutive grant prize and my own money. We've got $1.25 million of that committed in soft commitments and a $500,000 agricultural loan. So we got about 250 grand or so left. We're using that to build a larger facility that's going to produce 3,000 pounds of mushrooms a week, 12,000 pounds of our enhanced cattle feed, and generate about $1 million of annual recurring revenue. Yeah, we're going to do a $5.5 billion valuation cap at a 20% discount. I have a really detailed budget, but anybody?
Hey, Alex, thanks. You're a little over time. Well, there's a few questions coming in. Can people try out these mushrooms at local restaurants in either Edmonton or Calgary, or where can we taste the mushrooms?
Yeah, so actually in Edmonton, we're at the Honest Dumplings product. Their truffle oil mushroom dumpling has our mushrooms in it, as well as a sweet chili oyster mushroom. We've got probably 8 or 10 restaurants in Calgary that offer the mushrooms. Obviously, everything's closed right now, but they open again on the 8th. Popular with vegan and vegetarian restaurants.
Okay,
yeah.
And Alex, there's a question about your IP. Is there a proprietary catalyst or substrate, or what's the secret sauce here?
The process. So we can use any kind of an agricultural waste. You could literally grow on running shoes if you wanted to. Where the secret sauce is in the processing equipment that makes us 8.8 times higher yielding per square foot. We don't have patents on that. We do have trade secrets and trademarks and things like that. We find that's for our system is a better way to do it. Yeah.
Okay, and where's the planned facility that you're going to build? Where's that going to be located?
Yeah, so right now we're located in Olds, Alberta. We have a processing facility that does about 600 pounds of mushrooms a week. We're building one in Rocky View County in just outside of Calgary, the county right outside. We're going to use that as our first large-scale facility, and then implement them cookie cutter style everywhere you see on that map there.
Okay, You know what? We're just out of time here. There's a few more questions, which I think you should answer in the chat, but I want to end it with a fun one, which is, when are you moving into psychedelic mushrooms?
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of people that message us. We can grow them. We have a system that would grow them much more efficiently and with a higher quality than most folks. So yeah, I think we're about 3 to 5 years away from that. And when they do, it's like, I don't know what the statistic was, but like 3,000 pounds of magic mushrooms is worth like a couple $1 million. So that'd be okay.
Hey, Alex, thanks so much. A couple of questions here from Ted and Robert. I encourage you to answer in the chat for everyone. And I think, Jason, is that the end of the night? Was that all the presentations? Gosh.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Extraordinary. And now I'm going to have a look and see if my running shoes are currently a thriving mass of mushrooms. I'm sure my wife thinks so. I have to say thank you guys for taking the time to present tonight, for our investors for some fantastic questions, and of course for our host companies and organizations. So Western Economic Diversification, EFL, of course, Startup TNT, which is doing a bang-up job of running this terrific program. And I hope you guys have enjoyed and benefited from meeting each other and being part of this community. Zach, back to you.
Yeah, all I got to say is this has been awesome. Jason called me up out of the blue about a little over a year ago. He caught wind of my newsletter. He was like, we got to do this for clean tech. I said, absolutely, Jason. I love supporting scientists, entrepreneurs. I love the fact that this is focused on people that are, tinkering with hardware products, commercializing stuff out of universities, building things that are really hard to build using traditional angel startup models. So really awesome to be supporting all these entrepreneurs, and really encourage all of you to join us at the happy hour. I just posted the link for it. We're hanging out, drinking beers, having fun all night long. And we're going to be doing it all again next week with another batch of 10 awesome companies. So thanks, everybody. Look forward to meeting everybody soon.
See you next week.